All right. Once again, these videos are late. I apologize for that. My summer semester is taking a hell of a lot of time out of my schedule. That ends next week, so hopefully after that I'll be able to get a lot more content out there faster. But long overdue. I think it's been 5 days since the final. But we're gonna do the Euro 2020. Apparently it's 2020, even though it's 2021. Final reaction or whatever. I watched the game. It was a lot of the stuff that I had talked about England in the first place. A lot of that stuff, I feel like finally, a lot of the stuff that I said about Southgate, a lot of the stuff that I said about the midfield, a lot of the stuff that I said about the selections, it took a long time because I think I underestimated the talent, the sheer talent on that team. I think I might have underestimated that. But I did not. I never thought at any point, even when they beat Ukraine, even when they beat Germany, even when they beat Denmark, I never at any point thought my analysis of Southgate was wrong. The only thing I thought was I underestimated how good the squad was. I did not. I'm going to say my first mistake and my biggest mistake, I think honestly my only mistake, was I did not respect Raheem Sterling enough. I never doubted his world-class ability. I never doubted his talent. But going into this tournament, he was not the most in form of the wingers that were coming in, and I said bench him. And clearly, that was the most important decision Southgate made. In fairness, that was the most important decision he had to make, and he got it perfect. He got it right, and Sterling was their best player all tournament, and he's the reason they're in the final. And fair enough. From that standpoint, he absolutely made the right decision. But everything after that, he made the wrong decision every single step of the way. The Phillips and Rice midfield, everybody could see. I didn't we need to stop this fucking results based evaluation. When Portugal played in the group and they put out William Carvalho and Danilo as their midfield pivot, right? Nobody was like, oh well, let's wait and see if they win. Then it'll be a good decision. No, it's a bad decision because you know what these two players offer. You know the deficiencies they have. And you know that both of them have very similar deficiencies to each other. And they're both being asked to do the same exact thing. So why is it that when Portugal did it, and I know Portugal's results demanded the criticism, but we criticized them before they had even lost the game. Why is it that we were able to easily criticize them with no problem and say, that's the wrong fucking option? Get Renato Sanchez on the field. Why was it that easy to say that? But when it's Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips both doing the exact same role, both being, let's say, poor on the ball at their very best, right? Why is it so hard to be like, this is a mistake, fix it, rather than, oh well, they're winning, well, it'll figure itself out? That's not how you win things, man. That's not how you win things. Even when the team on the other side of the field showed that, because they won all their games too, and forget just one, they dominated all their games, right? And they still made necessary changes despite winning. Mancini showed you what a real coach looks like. He coached one of the best international tournaments I've ever seen from a manager, because he had real decisions to make, and he made them when he was winning. That's a great manager. When you see winning and your team is dominating and you still say, that's good, but I have a change that I can make it great. All right? That's what England could have done when they beat Ukraine. That's what England could have done when they beat Germany. They could have taken a good setup, a winning setup, but they could have made it great. One that amplifies their team. One that amplifies their talent. Because when Italy won 3-0 against Turkey, and then they won 2-0 against Switzerland, I think, or 3-0 against Switzerland, right? And Domenico Berardi was starting, right? And Locatelli was starting. Nobody would have blamed Mancini if he just kept those two in the starting lineup. And he did up to a certain point. But as soon as Verratti came back and he was fit and healthy, he brought him back over Locatelli because that's just the better player. And as soon as Berardi showed a little dip of form, he was like, immediately, let's get Chiesa in, right? And Chiesa, who I have to speak about on a side note, but Chiesa like lit up the tournament from the moment he got the starting spot. And all right, let's just talk about Chiesa, I guess. I have to unfortunately formally apologize. This is the first one of these I'm gonna do. Probably. I honestly, in fairness, if I wanted to apologize for my shit takes, I probably would have done more of these. But he's the only one that I felt like was egregious. Look, I don't think what I said at that time was wrong, but obviously everything I said now is wrong. He improved. He improved decision making. Fair enough, man. He's a great fucking player. I'm not gonna. I will say the one thing I never said in that video was that he lacked talent. I always knew he had talent. I just thought he was stupid. I still think his decision making is so-so sometimes, but he's obviously improved a lot. And when he's on the ball and his aggressiveness and his directness, I mean, that's the kind of winger you want. Foden is the same thing on the England team. I mean, he wasn't for this England team, but he's the same way with Manchester City. When he gets the ball and you're like, that guy's gonna run straight. He's gonna look that fucking fullback in the eye. He's gonna run straight at him. That's exactly what you want from a fullback. So there's that. And I mean, the game played out exactly how you would imagine, looking at the lineups and looking at the midfields. Like, why is Mason not playing? For what reason? The Phillips and the Rice midfield. Again, okay, you knew you were going to concede possession, right? You knew you were going to get destroyed by Jorginho and Barella and Verratti. And it just didn't make any sense why would you persist with that. And what made even less sense is once you saw that it wasn't working later on in the game, you had to have changed something, but he did nothing. He just watched it fucking deteriorate. And you just get these moments, you know, like you end up with 35% possession, and 35% possession was honestly very generous the way the game ended up going. I mean, they scored the early goal, and you're like, God, man, like they beautiful build up. It's Trippier to Luke Shaw. I love that move he made to play two wing backs, and those two guys are brilliant at both positions. Everybody knows what I think about Trippier. I think he's one of the best right backs in the world. I think he's top 3 right backs in the world. And Luke Shaw was amazing all tournament, and he was amazing during the last season, and he showed up all fucking tournament. But all this kind of stuff and they get the lead early, and then immediately it's just cowardice, man. It's the same fucking cowardice we saw all tournament that apparently I was supposed to ignore all tournament, right? And all tournament, see, this is what annoys me about the results-based analysis again, is these morons, they can't just see Southgate win and just be like, oh, good job, he won. I wouldn't have done this way, but, he won. No, they can't just do that. They have to not only say that he won, they have to pretend that his way is the only way of winning. And that's what annoys me. It's like, oh, well, it's international football. Nobody can play attacking wise. You have to play. Defensive compactness is what matters. Defensive shape. Yeah. Dude, having two defensive midfielders in midfield, having only two defensive midfielders in midfield and then playing a back 3, that's not the only way to win. All out defending is not the only way to win. And the only and I had to sit there and I'm starting to think, like, where did that bullshit come from? Like, what are these? Because I'm trying to think in my head, like, who are these these like teams that have won all these tournaments that apparently only played defensive football? And it's like, it's only Portugal 2016 and Greece 2004. That's it. Over my entire lifetime, those are the two defensive teams that won their continental cups. Maybe I guess Zambia if you want to count them, but they were real underdogs. You have a fucking stacked team. It's you and France. After this tournament, it's incredibly clear that it's you and it's France in terms of talent. In terms of talent of the pool. And the fact that was the only way you could find to organize them is disgusting. It's embarrassing. And if you run that shit back again next tournament at the World Cup, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I don't get why you can't just say this is a way of playing, but you have to say this is the only way. This is the way international football is played. No, it's not. Spain didn't play this way. Germany didn't play this way. Italy didn't play this way. You don't have to play like this. It's nonsense. And honestly, look, for Italy, they played a perfect game. They had a near perfect tournament, honestly. As I said with Mancini, he made some great decisions. Look, I didn't think Chiellini should have been called up. I mean, like, 21 starts in 2 years speaks for itself. He's been a fucking injury machine. But, my God, in this game, him and Bonucci rolled the fucking clock back. Like, they reminded us that's one of the best center-back partnerships football has ever seen. That's what those two are. And it's just, it was incredible to watch those two at the peak, not the peak of their powers. But they did look, it looked like it was prime Bonucci and prime Chiellini. And just Bonucci especially, man, like that dude on the ball, oh my, he is the greatest center back on the ball ever. Nobody has ever been as good on the ball as he is at that position. No, it's incredible what he does. It's honestly, it's mesmerizing. And it's just, you just see some things, man. Like, you're trying to tell me, I'm going to have to talk about it because I tweeted about it all day. But, like, you're trying to tell me that other fucking dude on the other side of the field, that you're trying to tell me Harry Maguire is better than that guy? Because if you are, you're just talking shit, honestly. He's not. He just isn't. He never has, and he will continue not being so. Because that dude's just better at everything. At everything. You're going to tell me, it boggles my mind because apparently nobody wants to remember that Harry Maguire for the first month and a half of the season, you all wanted him fucking hung from the ceiling chandelier. I remember this. I sit there and I listen to these guys say, he's not just top 5, which I think is ridiculous in the first place, but he's the second best center back in the entire world. And I sit there and I listen and I'm like, am I the only one who remembers that the 2020 part of the 2022 and 2021 season, the 2020 part of that, he sucked. You all wanted him gone. Especially United fans. You were all complaining. Like, I just don't get it. And it almost makes me feel like, am I living in an alternate reality? Like, what the fuck happened? You all were like this, and then in a matter of a couple months, he's the second best center back in the world. I just find myself like, what happened? I mean, what could have changed the opinion? It must have been the Premier League title. Oh, yeah. Or the Champions. Oh, no, sorry. That was a group stage exit. Leipzig, yeah. Or the Europa League. Oh, they lost that one too. He didn't even play that one, but they lost. Yeah. Or the Euros. Oh, we just talked about that one. Yeah, he lost that one too. It's just, I don't get it. What did he do to enchant the masses, apparently? Right? Like today, I tweeted that Rafael Varane is better than him. And everybody's like, acting like it's sacrilegious. Why? I need real explanations. Why? Because you guys watched the City game? Is that what it was? Because that's it. That's all you ever have is a City game. Because I know none of you watch Real Madrid. I know that. But I do know for a fact, okay, that Real Madrid conceded this season, 28 league goals. They conceded 28 league goals. 3 more than Atleti, right? They conceded 28 league goals with Ramos having only played 15 league games. Do you understand what I'm talking about? This dude played with Militao and Nacho, right? And he conceded 28 league goals. Do you understand how crazy that is? Like, you guys are telling me, you guys are acting like I'm fucking like slandering the guy for saying he's not top 5, or for saying that Rafael Varane's better than him. What has he done? I don't get it. What has he done on the pitch? Some dude fucking added me like, Varane had his hand held in the spotlight by Ramos. Has Maguire even been in the spotlight? What the fuck? What's the biggest game he's been in? This Euros final? That's it? That's the biggest game? Come on, man. We're getting ridiculous. Like, hey, okay, you know what? I gotta see this. All right. I'm hearing during the game, obviously Shaw scores, so he's automatically the best left back in the world. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to Andy Robertson, because he had an excellent fucking tournament. He was the best left back of the tournament. He just played for Scotland. That's the only difference, right? Andy Robertson apparently died yesterday because Shaw is now the best center back in the world, right? And Harry Maguire is the second best center back in the world after only Van Dijk, and Van Dijk's hurt, so he's the second. He's the best center back currently playing. Don't you know that? So the best center back currently playing and the best left back, they combined for what was that? 44 league goals conceded. 44 league goals conceded. Yeah. That's let me read that again. Oh yeah, that's second most since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Second most, 44 league goals. Okay. In 17-18, I would just like to point out, in 17-18, right? And everybody's gonna tell me that they started attacking more, or whatever. So let me. In 17-18, the two center backs with the most minutes for Manchester United Football Club were this guy, Chris Smalling, forgotten man, and Phil Jones. Those are the two center backs who played the most league minutes in that season, and they conceded 28 league goals that season. And everybody's gonna tell me, oh well, they were playing Mourinho terrorist ball, right? They were playing under hostage, in a hostage situation, right? How many goals did they score, you ask? They scored 68 goals. 68 goals. How many goals did this team, the miracle team with the best left back and the best center back, how many goals did they score? Oh, they scored 73. So they scored five more goals. 5 more goals. And conceded 16 more, and went out in the group stage of the Champions League and lost the Europa League final, and had 7 less points in the league. And apparently, from the horrific start of the season that Maguire had, from that through that season that we just discussed, that we just laid out, he apparently ascended to the second best center back in the world. I don't know how. Nobody knows how. Nobody's been able to explain it. All they say is, well, he is better than Varane. And then that's it. The conversation ends, apparently. I don't know why. God, I mean, like, even forget the achievements. I just don't understand why. What happened? He plays, everybody's like, oh, well, what can't he do? Well, I mean, I don't know what he can't do. I do know for an absolute fact, that the 3 major teams that he's played on in his career are counter-attacking teams. That I know for a fact. I do know that for both club and country, he plays in formations with 2 defensive midfielders in front of him. I know that, and everything is counter-attack oriented, and that, you know what I'm saying. I know these for a fact. I know that when Istanbul Başakşehir fucking scored a goal when no defenders were there somehow, and that cost them the Champions League. I know these things, but apparently nobody else does. It's a wondrous thing, honestly, to see how all of a sudden all these things are forgotten. I don't know. I don't know how this happened. The second best center back in the world, apparently, and everybody's gonna go like this is slander because I don't think he's the second best. Fuck, you know what it is? It is slander. He's not that good. He's not that good. He's really good. He's good. He's really good, but he's not that good. And everybody's going to tell me, and I'm hearing people tell me, he justified his 80 million signing. How? What did he do? You don't even concede that many less goals. It's the same shit. You've won nothing. What did he justify? Oh, he fixed a lot of problems. Clearly not enough. Not enough problems. I signed somebody for 80 million. I want a hell of a lot of problems. I want title winning problems to be solved. Nothing. Come on, man. And they're gonna sign Varane, who is better than him. They're gonna sign Varane. They're gonna put them together, right? And they're still not gonna. And if they don't sign a midfielder, everybody's gonna still go, well, how could they compete? It's fine. They don't need to win the title, despite having a Jesus Christ, man, fucking young Smalling, Jones, and Valencia. That team conceded 28 goals. Come on, man.